evening on Nationwide, we turn the spotlight on people who have overcome obstacles to get on with their lives. Tom Cronin from Cork, for instance, who spent time at the industrial school at Upton. Jane Donald from Carlow, who was once a hockey coach until she was eventually diagnosed with ME. And Thomas Mulcahy, who has battled dyslexia, confounded the odds, and is now a music teacher. This evening on Nationwide, we're bringing you a programme about people who have faced difficult times in their past, struggled and gone on to make a success of their lives. We're coming to you from Cork City, where Thomas Mulcahy has worked hard to achieve great things in life. Despite a rocky start in education, he's gone on to success in college, and he's now providing a service for people who have dyslexia and who have other learning difficulties.
Just loop it over and over again. See how.
The man you see here is a teacher of music in University College Cork, but his ability to read music is limited. School days were unhappy days, and the belief that he was stupid translated later in life into the fact that Thomas Mulcahy is dyslexic. Music has helped Tom through.
Ever since I was a kid in primary school, you know, now I know I was dyslexic, but then I didn't, and you know, I had problems learning stuff. I was just left there in the classroom, and maybe in third or fourth class, I was taught to tin whistle by a visiting, I think it was a teacher before he went to Africa, and I kind of, you know, grasped the idea of playing the whistle very fast, and it was a great feeling being able to do something that my peers couldn't do, and I latched onto it very fast.
But come with us now into the centre of Cork and to the Mulcahy family business, tailoring. Tom runs the shop these days, but even here in the midst of the buttons and the bows, you'll find the music. Music is important to Tom, but so too is the practice of the tailoring art.
Sometimes I look back on my life and think about being in school and having left school at 15 without ever passing an exam. And then suddenly, you know, I often think how lucky I was to go into the family business, tailoring. You know, I worked with my uncle, who was a gentleman, and you know, everything was passed on by hand, very gentle, and that learning suited me. Being dyslexic, there was no books, no paper, everything was shown by hand. I would spend hours learning to do buttonholes, maybe a week, the next week onto doing hems, all hand sewing, then you progress on to making sleeves, bits of waistcoats, and it was really a really nice way to work.
The dyslexia limits ability in the business of reading music. Everything is done by ear, and this computer package facilitates learning by slowing down the melody, stopping it at random even, and then picking it up again. The system works well.
When I was studying for my BA, you know, I had to learn a lot of music fast, and the only way I could learn music was by ear. The tunes were coming so fast, you know, it was very difficult for me to learn them. So I was made aware of software called the Amazing Slow Downer.
And basically, how does that work?
Amazingly, it slows the music down to whatever tempo you want it to, and you can stop any section, save it, and loop it.
So you take control of it. You become a kind of electronic conductor.
Yeah, well, you know, through my experience of learning and teaching now, I think the best way to learn is through your ears, orally. And, you know, by working with this machine, you know, it's going straight in, and yeah, as you say, you're taking responsibility for your own learning as well.
And extraordinarily, it's right there in the middle of your tailor's shop.
Yeah, that's where I do all my study, and it's fantastic. You know, I can just, when it's lunch hour, I can just close the door, go in and practice a tune, slow it down until I have it, and I won't move on to the next section till I have that off, and I move on meticulously. I learn to sing it, especially with any students that have learning difficulties. you need to be able to sing the tune, because if you can sing it, eventually you play it.
Away from the tailor's shop and the computer-aided practice sessions, Tom Mulcahy gained his BA degree in jazz and a master's in musical performance. Amid the joy of performance, the bad experiences of Tom's school days have made him a dedicated teacher. His history gave him the skill and desire to spot the student having problems and to act to help and to remedy.
Okay, do you want to try the intro? I love teaching, you know, to have that responsibility, because most of my career, or when I was trying to learn music, or even at schools, I found, you know, teachers went too fast for me. I couldn't grasp the ideas they were talking about. And you know, I was just left there. So, you know, now when I teach myself, you know, I can see if a person is struggling, you know, and I will stay with that person until they grasp what I'm talking about.
At home in Cork, the teaching continues. This time, an outreach in interactive metronome therapy. The beat of music and brain, hands and feet coordination helps people who have suffered from a wide range of brain-related conditions. One of Tom's young students demonstrates the method.
When I finished my master's, I was toying with the idea of doing a PhD, and I came across the Interactive Metronome, and when I started to read about it, like, it just suddenly jumped out at me. It was all about timing, processing, sequencing, motor planning. And they're all the stuff that affects me being dyslexic, or people with ADHD, or, you know, any learning difficulties like that. And it was really similar to how I studied music. You know, I had to sit down with a slow speed transcriber, I had to work meticulously, I had to match the beat exactly. You know, when you start that kind of thing first, you know, your beats are out, it takes a lot of practice to hone yourself back in, and the interactive metronome works something very similar to that.
And so the talented diversity of one man's life amply demonstrates that educational disadvantage and even dyslexia itself are no barrier to progress, betterment, and to helping others.
If you'd like any more information about Metronome and the work that Tom is doing, you can contact him at the website address which is on your screens there. We're off to Carlow now, where for 10 years Jane Donald,